But when the woman turned around, his worst nightmare was confirmed. Anwuleka, his own wife, sweating, panting, selling water in the middle of the road. Emeka's soul left his body. Without thinking, he threw the car into a park and jumped out like lightning. This woman wants to kill me. His voice thawed through the chaos. Anwuleka! Anwule froze. The water in her cooler was ice cold, but she suddenly felt like someone had poured hot pepper soup on her body. If someone had told Emeka months ago that he would one day find himself laughing uncontrollably, grinning like a schoolboy in love, or even calling his mother just to thank him for imposing a wife on him, he would have laughed in their face. But he was transformed. Anwuleka had broken him, but in the best way possible. She had chipped away at his rigid, rule-abiding nature and replaced it with laughter, mischief, and an unpredictable kind of joy. He no longer took life too seriously. In fact, he had come to realize that sometimes it was okay to throw structure and plans out the window and just leave. And he had Anwuleka to thank for that. He spoiled her in the way a king would spoil his queen. If she so much as mentioned something she liked in passing, it mysteriously appeared in the house the next day. Clothes, jewelry, the latest shoes. Anwuleka had them all. She was now the proud madam of a mansion big enough to house a small village, and she loved it. Or at least, she thought she did. At first, she basked in the euphoria of her new life. Every morning, she woke up in soft, silky sheets, ate the best food, and spent her afternoons watching movies on a television bigger than a church notice board. Her wardrobe was filled with the finest clothes, handpicked by Emeka himself. The village market girl had become a city queen. But after a while, something felt off. At first, she couldn't place it. She had everything she needed, everything she had ever dreamed of. So what was missing? Then it hit her. She had become used to doing something, working on the farm, helping her mother sell vegetables at the market, running errands for the elders, gossiping with the women at the stream. There was never a dull moment in the village. But now she spent her days sitting in air-conditioned rooms, flipping through channels, waiting for Emeka to come back from work every day. She felt useless. She wanted more, not just for the sake of doing something, but deep down, she knew she wasn't raised to sit down and eat a man's money without contributing anything. Her mother would be ashamed of her if she ever found out that she was living like this, an overdressed house ornament. She needed to work. Anwule wanted to make money. But the problem was, how? One Saturday morning, after their usual morning prayers, Anwuleka decided it was time to discuss it with her husband. She turned to him with a serious expression. "My husband, I've been thinking, what can somebody be doing in this city to be making money, plenty money?" Emeka, who had been scrolling through his phone, paused and looked at her slightly, confused. "Make money? I don't understand." She shifted closer, her face filled with determination. "I mean, if I want to start making money now, what can I do that will be making me money?" Realization dawned on Emeka and he chuckled. "Oh, you want to start working so that you can be earning money?" Anwuleka's face lit up. "Yes. Now you have come." She nodded enthusiastically. Emeka smiled at her innocence. Anwule, I'm happy that you are thinking like this, but I think it's still too soon. You need to settle down first and understand your environment well. See, this city is big, and if you're not careful, you could get into trouble. Besides, I give you enough money to take care of yourself, Just relax. Relax and enjoy. At the right time, you will do something. Anwuleka's face fell. That was not the response she had been expecting. But she did not argue though. She simply smiled, nodded and let the matter drop. But deep inside her mind was still spinning. She knew her husband loved her and wanted to take care of her. But she was not the kind of woman to sit back and let a man do everything. No, she needed to prove herself and to Emeka that she was a hard-working wife, the kind of wife who could bring something to the table. She had to make her own money. The only problem was still that she had no idea how. But then, as fate would have it, one day, whether by luck, destiny or pure mischief, an opportunity presented itself, and Anwuleka found the perfect way to make some cool money. That morning, like every other weekday, Emeka had gone to work, leaving Anwuleka alone in their massive house. She had already watched 3 episodes of her favorite show, rearranged the shoe rack for no reason, and even tried to take a nap, but boredom refused to let her be. I cannot come and die inside this house, she muttered, stretching her arms dramatically. Let me go and take fresh air before this boredom will finish me. Throwing on a pair of slippers, she stepped outside for a walk. The cool morning breeze felt good against her skin, and for the first time in a while, she felt the thrill of being outside. She had not even gone too far when something caught her attention. Boldly written with white chalk on a wall, as if it had just been waiting for her, was an inscription. Workers needed urgently. 30,000 naira daily. Anwuleka's leg froze. Her eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. Hey! She gasped, pressing her palm against her chest. 30,000 naira for just one day. One day? Her heart pounded in excitement as she quickly pulled out her phone to do the calculations. 30,000 times 30 days is... She mumbled, her fingers flying across the calculator. Then she saw the answer. Hey! She screamed so loudly that a passerby turned to stare at her. 900,000 naira for only 1 month. Ah! This city is good though. Anwule, it is God that told you to come out today. She was breathing heavily now, her mind racing. Was this real? Could it be that she had just stumbled upon the golden ticket to her riches? She quickly copied the phone number on the wall. This was not something to joke with. It was like finding a pot of gold on the roadside. Who knew? Maybe today was the day her destiny would change. At least she had finished secondary school, so she could read and write, do simple maths. She headed home. As soon as she got back home, she wasted no time dialing the number. The phone rang only once before a deep, friendly voice answered. Anwuleka's heart skipped a beat. This had to be a sign from heaven. After a brief conversation, an interview was fixed for the next day, and an address was sent to her phone. That night, she was so excited that she could barely sleep. She even woke up at midnight to pray for divine favor. But she told her husband nothing. She was going to give him a pleasant surprise when he returned home from work the next day. The next morning, the moment Emeka left for the office, she got dressed and dashed out of the house. It took her nearly 2 hours and 3 wrong turns, but she finally found the place. But to her surprise, the office was just a single bungalow, nothing fancy, no big company sign, nothing to indicate that millions were being made inside. She frowned slightly. Inside the room was even more suspicious. One old wooden table, 2 plastic chairs, and several wooden benches. There were no computers, no big files, nothing that looked like an actual company. Is this how rich people's offices look like? She wondered. But before she could think too much, a cheerful-looking man approached her with a wild smile. "Welcome, madam. You are lucky to be here today. This is the opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm happy that you are here to grab it." He gestured for her to sit, then pulled out a piece of paper and began his explanation. "This, my sister, is an investment strategy," he said, his voice dripping with confidence. "If you invest like 2,500 naira, you will get 5,000 naira instantly. If you invest 5,000 naira, you will get 10,000 naira instantly. In fact, whatever you invest, you will get double back, without stress, instantly." Anwuleka's eyes widened. Her brain was doing fast calculations again. "So, you are telling me that if I put 50,000 naira, I will get 100,000 naira immediately?" she asked, her voice barely containing her excitement. "Exactly," the man beamed. "Hey God, you are wonderful. Money is just lying on the ground in this city, and I did not even know." Without hesitation, she grabbed her phone and transferred 50,000 naira to the account number they gave her. And just like that, before she even reached home, her phone vibrated with an alert. 100,000 naira, sitting beautifully in her account. That day, Anwuleka could not contain herself. She danced around the living room, jumping on the couch, spinning in circles. "Anwuli, you have arrived. You have made it in this city. Ha! When I enter Umudiora, they will know that I have arrived. They will call me Anwuli $1 million." Her brain was moving faster than a train. She still had 100,000 naira left in her account. If she added it to the new 100,000 naira, she would have 200,000 naira. Anwuli is about to make a smart move now, she grinned. "If I put this 200,000 naira, I will get 400,000. Then I will put it back again and get 800,000. Then I will put it back again and get one. Anwuli, you have blew." Visions of her new life filled her mind. By next month, she would start building a house for her father in the village. She could already picture Amaka and those other village girls gasping in jealousy when she arrived in the latest car, her gold jewelry blinding their eyes. "Child, my husband will see that I am a good wife material. I will just be spraying money everywhere. I will be dashing people 10,000 naira. Who said Anwuli will not be a millionaire?" Still grinning, she picked up her phone. Her plans, carefully laid out before her, typed the amount and transferred everything. 200,000 naira, gone in one click. Her heart raced in excitement as she waited for the next alert. 400,000 naira was about to appear in her account. She smiled. She waited. And waited. And waited. The first hour passed and Anwuleka kept glancing at her phone, expecting the alert at any moment. The second hour crawled by. Still nothing. By the third hour, her palms had started sweating. She wiped them on her clothes and took a deep breath. Maybe this one is taking time because the money is big. She reassured herself. After all, 400,000 naira was not small money. Perhaps they had to do some special calculations before sending it. But by evening, her confidence had started to shake. By nightfall, doubt had gripped her by the throat. She called the number over and over again. "The number you're trying to reach is not reachable at the moment," was all she got. Not reachable, not reachable. Blood of Jesus, Anwuleka whispered, her heart pounding like a talking drum. Her body felt hot and cold at the same time. Still, she forced herself to act normal. When Emeka got home, she placed his dinner before him, but barely touched her own food. Emeka noticed immediately. Asa, what is wrong? You are not eating, he said, studying her face. Nothing, she mumbled, staring at her untouched plate of food. Emeka frowned. You are not yourself. Are you feeling sick? No. Did something happen? No. Are you sure? Yes. But Emeka was not convinced. Anwuleka loved food too much to sit in front of a full plate without taking a single bite. But after several failed attempts to get her to talk, he sighed and gave up. That night, Anwuleka lay awake, tossing and turning. She checked her phone every 10 minutes, but the only alerts were from her mobile network. Where is my 400,000 naira? She kept muttering to herself. By the time morning came, her mind was made up. As soon as Emeka left for work, she headed out. She took a bus and then walked the last few meters to the office. But then, when she got there, something was very, very wrong. The place was empty. Not just empty, cleared out completely. The wooden table, gone. Plastic chairs, vanished. The smiling man who had taken her money was nowhere to be found. Anwuleka's breath caught in her throat. She turned in slow circles and moved outside, staring at the now abandoned bungalow in shock. Her legs suddenly felt weak. What is happening here? She asked no one in particular. A man passing by stopped and gave her a pitying look. Madam, you dey find something? Yes. Oga, there was a company here yesterday. One investment company. Where did they go? The man chuckled and shook his head. Investment company? Yes. I put my money there and now I just came to collect it and I can't find anybody here. The man's smile disappeared, replaced by something close to sympathy. Ah, madam, you don't enter one chance, so those people now 419. They have duped you. Anwuleka frowned. I don't understand. What is the meaning? Madam, it means say them don't chop your money. Them be scam. Why your people? It took a second for the words to sink in. Then, hey! Anwuleka, you are finished. She wailed, throwing herself to the ground. My enemies have finally caught up with me. Hey, Jimmy! My money! My sweet money! Ha! They have chopped me, Mugo, Anwuli. She rolled on the floor, her hands on her head, wailing like a widow in an old Nollywood movie. Some people passing by stopped to watch. Some shook their heads in sympathy. Others whispered among themselves. A few even laughed. When she realized that nobody was going to return her money and she was already becoming a spectacle, she picked herself up, wiped her tears and dragged her heavy legs home. She entered the house and collapsed on the floor of the living room, staring blankly at the ceiling. Everything was gone. Her dreams, her money, her future mansion in the village, her biggest surprise for Emeka, all in the mud. Now she was even the one surprised. That was how Emeka found her when he returned from work, sitting on the floor, tears streaming down her face. Alarmed, he rushed to her side. Asa, what happened? Are you sick? At the sound of his voice, fresh tears burst from her eyes. Ha! My husband, thank God you are back. They have chopped me, Mugu. They chopped my money, all my money. Emeka's face twisted in confusion. I don't understand. Who is they? And what money are you talking about? Anwuleka sniffed. That's a very good question. That's a good question, my husband. Thank God you asked that question. So you see, I've been saving some of my pocket money. And so yesterday, I met some investment people. They said it's investment though. Investment. And I put all my money there. Fiam! They carry my money and run. Emeka's confusion only deepened. Asa, this your story is somehow. Where exactly did you meet these investment people? Slowly, reluctantly, Anwuleka told him the whole story. When she finished, Emeka stared at her. Then he threw his head back and burst into loud, uncontrollable laughter. Ha! Anwule, you mean to tell me that you believe that people can just double your money like that, just like magic? Anwule was not amused. My husband, why are you laughing now? I said I should surprise you. Now my plans have scattered. I know it's my village people. They don't want me to build house for my father. Emeka wiped tears from his eyes as he tried to control his laughter. Asa, nobody's after you. This is just Lagos. I warned you before, didn't I? This city is full of scammers, thieves. You have to be careful. But my husband, the first time, they sent me money. I put 50,000 naira and they sent me 100,000 naira. Emeka chuckled. That's how it works. They will give you small at first so that your greed will push you to bring more. Then boom, they will vanish. Anwuleka sighed, wiping her nose. So, my 200,000 naira is gone. Emeka smiled and pulled her into a hug. Don't worry, wipe your tears. I will give you back your money. But then, I hope you have learned your lesson. You should be telling me these things before you do anything. I've told you this before. Anwuleka sniffed. I have learned, but that money I calculated, that money was sweet in my heart though. I had many big plans. Big plans. Emeka shook his head, laughing again. Let's just be thanking God that you did not go and borrow money to invest. Anwuleka gasped. My husband. It's God that saved me. If I had borrowed money now, I would have been finished. Bam bam. She wiped her face dramatically and sat up straight, then patted her chest. But don't worry, my husband. In this city, I will make money. Watch out. I must make it in this city. If there was one thing to know about Anwuleka, it was this. When she set her mind on something, nothing in heaven or earth could shake her decision. Sundays were special in Emeka's household. For Emeka, it was a day of worship, a time to soak himself in God's presence. He never joked with church. The moment he stepped into the sanctuary, he became a different man, serious, focused, and deeply spiritual. But for Anwuleka, church was something else entirely. First, she loved seeing people in their fine, colorful Sunday attires, big head ties, sharp suits, glittering shoes. It was like a fashion parade, and she enjoyed every moment of it. Second, the praise and worship session. That was the best part. It was the perfect excuse to unleash the dancer in her. Whether the choir sang slow or fast, Anwuleka would dance as if she was on a mission to impress God personally. But that particular Sunday, something unusual happened. The pastor's sermon touched her. Not just touched, shook her soul. Give! The pastor thundered from the pulpit. The key to success is giving. Whatever you give to God, He will return to you 10 times. Give to God, shock God, and let Him shock you. Anwuleka sat up straight. Her mind started working. So this is why I have not made money, she thought to herself. Because I am not giving. Why Why did I not realize this before? For the rest of the service, she barely heard anything else. The pastor had already given her the master key to success. And in typical Anwuleka fashion, she was going to use it immediately. By the time they got home, she had made up her mind. She was going to shock God. And once God was sufficiently shocked, he would have no choice but to shock her back 10 times over. That night, she sat in bed, smiling to herself, whispering her future riches into existence. Everybody should get ready for the return of Amole $1 million. This city will hear my name. The next day, Emeka closed work early. He had had a very long day at work and was tired. However, the thought of returning home to his loving wife and a steaming plate of bitterleaf soup kept him going. But as he drove into the compound, humming to himself, his eyes casually drifted to where his car was supposed to be parked. He froze. The spot was empty. His heart skipped a beat, then two. The car, his brand new imported Toyota Prado, worth 168 million naira, was gone. He jumped out of the other car so fast that he almost twisted his ankle. His mind raced. Have we been robbed? He sprinted into the house, ready to raise the alarm, only to find Anwuleka sitting calmly at the dining table, grinning like a well-fed cat. The table was beautifully set, lit candles, fine dishes, the whole romantic setup. She got up excitedly. My husband, welcome. You are back. Let me collect your briefcase. But Emeka was not in the mood for pleasantries. Anwule, he said, his voice unnervingly calm. Where is my car? Anwuleka beamed. My husband, I know you will ask. See, you remember the powerful preaching in church yesterday? Emeka's eyes narrowed. And pastor said we should shock God with a gift so that God will shock us back 10 times, Abi? So, I gave the car to pastor. There was silence. A heavy, pregnant silence. Emeka's mouth fell open. His eyes grew wider and wider until they looked like they would pop out of his skull. You did what? He finally thundered. Anwuleka jumped. She had never seen her husband this angry before, and she was not expecting it. My husband. Please calm down. See, this is a smart move. It's a very smart move. Imagine when God give us 10 Toyota Prados. Nobody will stand us near this city again. Emeka felt his soul leaving his body. His head spun. His hands trembled. Anwuleka, he said in a dangerously low voice, you carried my brand new imported Toyota Prado worth 168 million naira and gave it to pastor? Yes, my husband. I shocked God though. Maybe you too, you are shocked, she said proudly. Emeka shut his eyes tightly. Anwule, I have closed my eyes. If I open them again, I want to see that car back in this compound. At that moment, Anwuleka knew there was fire on the mountain. Her bravado crumbled. She fell to her knees. My husband, please. Pico, how will I collect it back? I don't even know how to drive. It was pastor that came here and carried it himself. That was it. Emeka exploded. That man is a thief. If I catch him. Without wasting another second, he stormed out of the house. He did not even bother driving. He booked a ride straight to the pastor's house. 2 hours later, Emeka returned with his car. By then, Anwuleka was sitting in a corner, wiping her tears with the edge of her clothes. The moment Emeka saw her swollen eyes and wet cheeks, his anger evaporated. He sighed and sat down beside her. "Asa, listen to me." His voice was calmer now. "You need to slow down with this your money-making wahala before it gets you into serious trouble." Anwuleka sniffed. Emeka continued, "This is Lagos. People are desperate. That pastor knew that I just bought that car. He knew how much it cost, and he still carried it in my absence. Think about it, Anwule." She nodded, wiping her nose. "From now on, before you do anything, big or small, Anwule, tell me first. No more shocking God without informing me. Do you understand?" Anwuleka sighed dramatically and nodded. "I promise, my husband. It will not happen again." Emeka smiled. "Good. No, now go and get me some food. I've had a very long day. I'm starving and I'm tired." Just like that, peace returned to the house. But deep in Anwuleka's heart, one thing remained certain. She would still make money in this city. She just needed to find a different way. And indeed, she soon found a different way. This time, she was convinced that this was it. She had finally found the business that would make her rich in the city. It all started on a regular Saturday afternoon. Emeka had taken Anwuleka to the market in his car, as he always did when she needed to buy things in bulk. The sun was unforgiving, pouring down heat like punishment. Lagos traffic was at its usual standstill, with cars barely crawling forward. Inside the car, even with the air conditioner on, Anwuleka felt like she was roasting. "Ah, my husband, I'm dying of thirst. I want to drink water," she whined, dramatically fanning herself. She quickly rolled down the window and called out to a street vendor, a young woman weaving between the traffic with a cooler of bottled water balanced on her head. "Fine sister, abeg, give me cold one." The vendor swiftly handed Anwuleka a bottle of water, and as Anwule unscrewed the cap and gulped greedily, Emeka reached into his pocket for money. Just then, the traffic eased lightly, and the cars ahead began to move. Emeka had no choice but to drive forward slowly, but the vendor wasn't done with them yet. Determined not to lose her money, she picked up her pace, jogging after the car, one hand stretched out for her money, the other gripping the edge of her cooler. Anwuleka was stunned. "My husband, see the way this woman is running because of ordinary 200 naira, she exclaimed. "Ah, I pity her. This business must be very hard." Emeka chuckled as he handed over the money. "Leave these people, don't pity them too much. If they tell you how much they make in a day, you'll be shocked." That was the moment Anwuleka's brain clicked. Her eyes widened. Her entire body sat up with excitement. So they are making money like this? She mused, rubbing her chin. This Lagos city safe. Everywhere is just money, money. Emeka continued driving, unaware that in that very moment, a new business idea was being planted deep in his wife's mind. She did not see anything else. She only sat quietly, smiling to herself, nodding like someone who had just cracked the code to success. She had found her next big move, and this time, nobody would stop her. The very next morning, Anwuleka wasted no time. The moment Emeka left for work, she sprang into action. Today was the day her millionaire journey would begin. Her first step was the expressway where the water vendors worked. As a smart businesswoman that she was, She knew that information was power. She had to learn the trade before jumping in. At first, the women were wary of her questions, but one quiet, kind-looking vendor mistook her for a young woman trying to make ends meet and revealed everything: where to buy in bulk and how to keep the water cold and the best hours to sell. Anwule noted it all down like a serious student preparing for exams. By the next day, she was ready. The sun was out in full force, Lagos was boiling, and traffic was, as usual, at a standstill. Drivers leaned on their horns, frustrated commuters sighed in exhaustion, and roadside vendors waved through the chaos, seizing every opportunity to make sales. Among them, moving swiftly with a large cooler of bottled water balanced on her head, was Anwuleka. She ran from car to car, expertly dodging side mirrors, squeezing between bumpers, and shouting in her loudest voice, "Cold water! Buy cold water! Ice cold water! Oh!" She was determined, she was focused, she was on fire. And then her fire nearly turned into ashes. A sleek black car rolled forward in traffic. Inside, Emeka sighed, drumming his fingers on the steering. Exhausted after a long day at work, he could not wait to get home. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he spotted something, or rather someone. At first, he paid no attention. Then he saw the person sprinting after a moving car, cooler on her head, feet kicking up dust, determination on her face. She looked too familiar. His eyes narrowed, his breath caught. Was that? No, it couldn't be. He blinked, hoping his vision was deceiving him. But when the woman turned around, his worst nightmare was confirmed. Anwuleka, his own wife. Sweating, panting, selling water in the middle of the road. Emeka's soul left his body. Without thinking, he threw the car into a park and jumped out like lightning. "This woman wants to kill me." His voice thawed through the chaos. "Anwuleka!" Anwule froze. The water in her cooler was ice cold, but she suddenly felt like someone had poured hot pepper soup on her body. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Emeka stormed towards her. Cars honked angrily behind him, but he did not care. "Do you want to kill me before my time, Abi? See, you are running inside traffic, selling water. What is the meaning of this now, Anwule?" Anwule quickly tried to explain, but Emeka quickly cut her off. "Get inside the car, now." She had never seen her husband so angry before, not even when she gave his car to the pastor. "My husband, please, let me at least pack my things. Anwule, before I close my eyes and open them, if I don't see you inside that car, heaven will come down." Anwule knew not to argue. The crowd of onlookers watching the scene wasn't helping matters. She had already become a Lagos spectacle, and she knew that in less than 1 hour, her gist would be flying all over WhatsApp and Facebook. With a deep sigh, she quietly entered the car, leaving all her wares behind. The ride home was silent. Emeka was fuming. Anwuleka was sulking. The tension in the car was so thick, so hot you could use it to cook yam porridge. When they finally got home, Emeka sat on the couch, exhaling deeply. His anger was already cooling. "Asa, why are you embarrassing me like this, eh?" He shook his head. "My wife, running around, selling water on the highway." Anwuleka gasped dramatically. "God forbid, my husband. I cannot embarrass you now. Shebi, you are the one that told me that these people make plenty money. So I said, let me make my own too." She straightened her back proudly. See, my husband, I have big plans. I must make it in this city so that the day I will enter Omodiora, I want everybody to know that Anwule $1 million has arrived. Emeka stared at her, his lip twitching. But this was not even funny. Was this woman for real? Anwule, so you are telling me that this water business, this thing that made you run around like a mad woman in traffic, is what will give you $1 million? Anwule huffed. My husband, business starts small. Today is just the beginning. Emeka raised an eyebrow. Fine. Oh yeah, how much did you make today? Feeling triumphant, Anwule dramatically opened her purse and counted the money. Then her expression shifted. Her face fell. She counted again. 5,000 naira. Since morning, after all the running, after all the sweating, after nearly getting run over by traffic. She looked at Emeka, completely betrayed. My husband, it's you that caused this thing, no? If you had allowed me to finish, I would have made plenty money. Emeka finally burst into laughter. Plenty money indeed. His face became serious again. Anwule, I have begged you for one thing. Just one thing. Be patient. Get used to the environment first. And when the time is right, I will help you find something better. But no. Every day, it's one trouble or another. Anywhere you hear money, you must jump inside. Do you want to kill me before my time? Anwule sighed, staring at her bruised feet and aching legs. She had to admit, this business was a death wish. All her joints ached. Her feet were blistered. Her husband had just saved her life. With a deep breath, she nodded solemnly. I'm sorry, my husband. I won't go back there again. And just like that, another business chapter was closed. After that incident, Anwuleka promised herself to wait, just as her husband had told her. She had made up her mind already. No more businesses. She would be patient. And patient she was, until a few weeks later, when a golden opportunity presented itself on a platter of gold. That day, she was on her way to the market to get some things for dinner. She boarded a taxi. Inside the taxi was a man in his mid-40s. The man was deeply engrossed with the driver in what seemed like a serious conversation. At first, Anwule did not pay attention, but the man was constantly talking about money. It caught Anwule's attention. I have 50 cartons of this money paper, and one carton is worth 2 million naira. Imagine 50 cartons. In fact, as I speak with you now, I'm on my way to where I can buy the chemical to wash the money. Oga, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, the driver put in. So now, if I say I want to join you to wash this money, you go agree? The man smiled at the driver. That one a small thing now. The money is plenty. All you need to do is to join money with me so that we can buy the chemical. The money will be shared 60-40%. I will collect 60 million naira. You will collect 40 million. You know, say na me carry am come from Cameroon. Anwuleka's heart began to race. 50 cartons of money paper. 2 million per carton. That is 100 million in total. A life-changing amount of money just waiting to be unlocked. Her palms started itching. This was her chance. She wouldn't even have to stress herself like she did selling water in traffic. All she had to do was invest. Anwuleka cleared her throat and moved closer to the man. Sorry sir. I overheard your talk with the driver. I'm interested in this business. Me too, can I join? The man turned as if noticing her for the first time. His sharp eyes studied her. Then he burst into laughter. Ah, this woman. The chemical no be small money oh. Are you sure you have money? Anwulika scoffed, flicking her wrist like a rich woman insulted by the idea of being broke. Here, how much is the money, Kwano? Do you know who I am? I have money now. The man smiled, nodding approvingly. Okay, no problem. You can join us. The chemical costs 1 million naira. If you bring 300,000, our Oga here will bring 350,000 naira, and I will bring 350,000. To Anwulika, the deal sounded fair. She did not even hesitate. Immediately, she took out her phone and transferred 300,000 naira to the man. As soon as the transaction was complete, they drove to an old, nondescript building. The man got out of the taxi and disappeared inside, while Anwulika and the driver waited eagerly. Minutes passed. Then the man emerged, but something was wrong. His shoulders were slumped, his face lined with worry. Oga, what happened? Anwulika asked, her heartbeat increasing. The man shook his head gravely. Problem deal. The price of the chemical just increased. It is now 2 million naira. Anwulika gasped. 2 million? But you said... the driver hissed. These people don't have conscience, so what do we do now? He said, interrupting Anwulika. The man sighed. We go split the cost again now, the same way we did before. Anwulika did a quick calculation in her head. If she had to contribute again, that means she needed another 300,000 naira. She bit her lip, thinking hard. But then she pictured it. The life she was about to have. The money, the luxury, the shock on Emeka's face when she suddenly becomes a millionaire overnight. She did not even hesitate. Her resolve became stronger. No problem. I will bring the money. But there was one issue. She had only 50,000 naira left in her account. Without a second thought, she sent the remaining 50,000 naira, then reassured them, tomorrow I will bring the rest 250,000 naira. Before leaving, the three of them put their hands together and swore an oath of secrecy. Everything that we did here and discussed here today must stay between us. We will not tell it to anyone. Any one of us who speaks of this will die instantly. Anwulika shivered but nodded seriously. As she left the meeting, her stomach rumbled loudly. That was when she realized something. She had not bought a single thing for dinner. She had transferred all the money in her account, including the food money her husband sent into her account just that morning. Now all she had left was her transport fare home. But she wasn't worried. It was for a good cause after all. By this time tomorrow, I will be swimming in millions, she said to herself proudly as she headed home. The only question now was, where would she get 250,000 naira without raising Emeka's suspicion? Morning came very fast, and Anwulika sat on the bed, deep in thought. The opportunity of a lifetime was staring her in the face, but there was just one problem. She needed 250,000 naira, and she needed it urgently. Her hands itched. She had already given 50,000 naira. Now, where on earth would she find the remaining 250,000? Then, like a light bulb, she remembered something she had seen on TV. Loan app. These loan apps give instant loan, no collateral, no stress. Immediately, she grabbed her phone and quickly downloaded 3 different loan apps. Within minutes, she had taken loans from all of them, 50,000 naira each. The money entered into her account and her heart swelled with joy. Who says there is no God? She now had 150,000 naira, but still she needed 100,000 naira. Then, as if the heavens were smiling down on her, her phone beeped. She just received a credit alert, 100,000 naira. It was from Emeka. Her joy was overflowing. She could barely read the message before dancing around the room. This, my God, is too much. Money just dey fall from heaven. This is a good sign. Anwole $1 million. You are about to arrive. Then, another message entered her phone. She read the message. It was from Emeka. Go to the bank, it said. Withdraw the money I just sent to you and send it to your father through the post office. He says he is not feeling well. Anwoleka paused for a moment. But wait though. That is a strong man now. Let him wait. Let him wait. Besides, this money will multiply very soon. When I collect my millions, I will send him double. Without wasting time, she quickly transferred the last 250,000 naira to the man and sighed in satisfaction. Mission accomplished. Now, all she had to do was wait for the money to be washed. Emeka had left the house, so she picked up her phone and dialed the man's number. Oga, I have sent the money. I've sent the 250,000. Everything complete. The man on the other end of the line chuckled. Good woman, you are now a millionaire in waiting. Anwoleka giggled. Na true talk. God bless you for showing me this secret. Just then she heard something. A cough. A familiar cough. Her spirit left her body for a second. She turned around slowly, and standing by the door was Emeka, with his hand folded across his chest, staring at her. The phone almost fell from her hands. Her throat dried up. Jehovah Nisi, she exclaimed. Emeka was too shocked to speak at first, but then he found his voice. Anwole, please tell me I did not just hear what I think I heard. Anwoleka swallowed hard. Hear what? You sent what money to who? Anwoleka laughed nervously. Oh, you heard that? It's just what you think, my husband. Answer me before I lose my mind, Anwole. Emeka thundered. Anwoleka immediately burst into tears. My husband, I don't want to die, she wailed, falling to her knees. And who is talking about this? They say I will die, I swore an oath. They said if I tell anybody, I will die instantly. She cried louder. Emeka's jaw dropped. Oath? Yes, and now that you have heard it, my enemies will come for me. She held her chest dramatically. My husband, I can already feel my spirit leaving my body. Your spirit is leaving your body. Emeka was losing his patience. Anwole, what nonsense are you talking about? She rolled on the floor. I don't want to die young. I only wanted to be rich, so that I can take care of you and our children. What children? We don't even have children yet. Emeka knew this was beyond ordinary, and he decided to use force, else he would not be able to get anything out of Anwole. Taking a deep breath, he looked her dead in the eye and said, Anwoleka, if you don't start talking this minute, I will carry you to the car and drive you straight back to your father's house. Her tears stopped immediately. She wiped her face. Village. Yes, I will take you back today. She fell on her knees and clapped her hands. My husband, please, let me explain. I'm listening, Emeka said. She sniffed, took a deep breath, and began to explain everything from the taxi ride to the secret business deal to the millions waiting to be washed. When she was done, surprisingly, she did not die as expected. Emeka just stood there, frozen. His head spun. He could not believe what he was hearing. Amule, you mean to tell me that you have given all your money, including the one I just sent you this morning, to these fraudsters? Amuleka shook her head. No, my husband, it's not fraudsters. But don't worry, tomorrow they will wash the money and we will be millionaires. Emeka stared at her speechless. Amuleka, are you normal? Millionaire? Amuleka, they have scammed you. The money is gone, vanished. Poof! He snapped his fingers in the air. Amuleka gasped. Sophia kwa? Emeka, don't say that. It's not possible. Oh, but it's very possible. My friend was scammed like this last year. These people have disappeared with your money. And let me just tell you, both the man and the driver are in on it. They have taken your money and you will never see them again. Reality started to sink in. Amuleka stared blankly for a moment. Then she let out a soul-piercing scream. Yeah. Hey, Wochimo! My 250,000. My father's money. My life savings. My loan. I collected loan. How will I pay back? Hey, and I have sent 300,000 yesterday. Hey, Chimo, Awole. Hey! She collapsed on the floor, rolling from one end of the room to the other, wailing like a professional mourner. They have finished me. I am finished. My enemies have won. Emeka rubbed his face, already exhausted. Amule, you are your own enemy. At that moment, Amule sprang up. Wait, maybe the man is still there. Let's go and catch him. Catch who? Emeka asked angrily. Wait, call him first. Amuleka dialed the number she was given, but it was switched off. Hey! She screamed. They have chopped me mugu again. They have chopped me like food morning, afternoon and night. Hey! At this point, Emeka was tired. He had had enough and did not know what else to say. He looked at his wife. Follow me, he said as he walked out of the house. And she obliged. They got into his car and drove for almost 2 hours. And then he stopped in front of a construction site in the heart of town. What are we doing here, my husband? Anwale asked. Emeka turned to face her. Before you started talking about finding work, to start making your own money, I already bought this land and started work on it. This is a modern supermarket, obviously still under construction. I wanted it to be ready and fully stocked before I presented it to you. I wanted it to be my gift to you, and I begged you to be patient. But you are always in a hurry to make money. Money does not fall from a tree, Anwale. You work hard and smart to make money. Nobody can double your money. But you want it fast. That is why you keep falling prey to all these fraudsters. Anwale, you need to learn. This city is hot. By the time Emeka finished, Anwuleka was in tears. She cried so hard. But this time, Emeka did not try to console her. And now she had learned her lesson, but she learned it the hard way. In the days that followed, Anwuleka continued to plead for her husband's forgiveness, and finally he came around. But he made her understand that she had to deal with the loan apps on her own. After this particular incident, Anwuleka became calm. There was no more talk of business and no more trouble. A few months later, her supermarket was ready. The day she stepped her feet inside, she exclaimed happily, "Hey! This is it. Anwule $1 million has arrived. Umudiora should fear my return." Emeka could not hold his laughter. Anwule would always be dramatic. Since the last investment wahala, he had known so much peace and less drama. And from where he stood, watching her dance around happily, he hoped that the peace would remain. But who knows? One was never too sure with Anwuleka. She could surprise you at any time. Hey lovers, thank you for listening to this story. If you are new here, welcome to our community. I hope you enjoyed listening to this story as much as I enjoyed creating it. If you have not done so already, please hit the subscribe button. And to support the growth of our community, give this video a big thumbs up. If you know someone who would enjoy a story like this, do not hesitate to share. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. Remember, like, share, drop a comment and subscribe. I'll take my leave now, but I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.